This is Paul from Savoir Adore, and you're watching AMBY.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia from AMBY, and I would like to welcome you to our interview with Savoir Adore. Hello.
Hello, hello. It's good to be back.
Yeah, I think it's been, 2.5 years since we first spoke with you?
Yes, it's been a while.
Long time. This is a long time coming. Thanks for doing it.
No problem.
So, it's an exciting time to be in the band because you just announced that you have a new record coming out, The Love That Remains. Can you tell me a little bit about this album?
Absolutely. It's a very exciting time because this is also the longest I've worked on a record. So like literally it got mastered today.
Oh wow.
So it's like done as of today. And yeah, it was a really long but very like kind of beautiful process because it allowed me to sort of take a deep breath, really think about where I wanted to take the band. And I came up with a concept very early on, which was sort of coming out of our nature. And basically the whole record is about finding love again. And it's like about finding love again with your relationships, with yourself, in the world, like all of that. And I could really just focus in on that one thing and write for a couple years. And now that it's done, I'm just like we just started touring again, so we've been playing like 5 of the songs live, so it's like super exciting.
Well, being that the creation of it was over the span of a couple of years, what was one of the best moments when you look back or reflect on it all?
I think probably the best moment, it was like, because there really were like a few turning points, where especially when you're writing, and this record was different for me because I was writing everything on my own. Because when we started the record, that's when Deidre decided she didn't want to do it anymore. And so it really put me in a position where it was sort of like with any big change like that, there's positives and negatives. It allowed me to sort of, really get exactly what I wanted out of it. But probably the biggest turning point was I ended up collaborating with a singer in LA. Her name's Leah Hayes. And there was one song that I always knew was going to be the first song on the record. It just had to be. It was called Lover's Wake, which we released a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I ended up collaborating with her on the chorus. And it was literally just a thing where I had the whole song written except for I needed to write like a chorus melody and lyrics for a bunch of sections. We got together and in like 1 hour, we were just like, every idea she came up with, every idea I came up with, it was just like boom. And at the end of the session, it was done.
Wow.
So it was just one of those things where, sometimes songs take 2 or 3 years and sometimes it takes like 1 hour for everything to come together. And it was huge.
I'm glad you brought up Lover's Wake because the video for that is so cool. If you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty much you're underwater singing with some very ethereal dancers. So what was it like making that?
It was when I came up with the idea for that, because even when I finished the song, I was like, I just always felt this song just feels like you're underwater. Because the whole idea of the song really is trying to escape from a dream. So I always thought like drowning is sort of like a cool metaphor for that. But like as soon as I came up with that idea and I told directors, they were like, there are so many problems with this idea. It's like you want to be underwater, you want to sing underwater, and you want to be underwater the whole time. Yeah. And of course, on top of it all, I wanted to shoot the video in January. So it's not like we could just go to a pool or something and just do it. But luckily, our singer's girlfriend actually, she's an amazing, she worked in a production company, she's a filmmaker, and she was like, you know what? I think I can do it. And she just put it together and all these things just lined up. But it was the hardest day of shooting a music video ever because as soon as, it's sort of that thing where, when you get into an exciting time, like even when you perform, but your heart kind of starts to race and you like can't really breathe as well, especially when you get nervous. And so I'm jumping, the first shot is 30 seconds straight of singing. And so I just kept like going underwater, singing, and then freaking out and bopping up. And they're like, are you okay? Oh. And I was like, I think I'm having anxiety attacks. So it was basically just 2 hours of me having anxiety attacks, and then all of a sudden it clicked, and the beginning of the video is the one and only time that I actually did it.
Oh, okay.
So it was just like, as soon as I got it, they were like, we're moving on. And that was it, yeah.
Did you have to do any preparation for it? Or did you just go right into it?
No, we actually did, we went to the YMCA in Greenpoint in Brooklyn, and we did a training so that we could see what it would look like when I sang. So we actually did a lot of pre-production. But it still just wasn't this. As soon as we got there, it was just the added pressure of the cameras and the lights, and I was like, I don't want to mess up, but we got it. We did it. And I loved
cool
the way it turned out was everything that I had hoped for and better. So I was really stoked.
And you also dropped a new single called Giants, which is
Yes.
just such a cool song.
Thank
and I
you.
really get the sense that it's about sticking to your guns. It's kind of uplifting. What space were you at when you were writing that?
Well, that was an interesting one too, because that was the first song I wrote with Lauren, our new singer, and I had been collaborating with a bunch of people because I think, especially after finishing Lover's Wake, I realized I like this sort of process of starting songs but then collaborating with different people.
There are a lot of people featured on this record.
Yeah, there's a few different singers. The whole band plays on it, which is different from the older records. And it was nice because it allowed me to also take a step back and not be so, it kind of allowed me to be more of like a director in a way and less of like worrying about every little detail. But Lauren and I wrote this song, and it was also, that was another turning point because originally I kind of went into the record thinking it would be like very romantic, just like love, between two people. And then Lauren had the idea of this chorus that was very much just about, thinking about your soul essentially as something that's like, you're sort of, you're capable of anything, and sort of your insecurities and everything, your physical body like holds you back from that. So the idea that we're sort of much bigger than that, we're giants. And it just kind of, that's another one that just came out. We were like, this is awesome, And yeah, and that theme kind of goes throughout the record as well. That sort of self-empowerment and just security and like, sort of trusting your instincts kind of thing.
And as you mentioned, you're playing some of the new songs live, and you're in Toronto now for CMW. But before this Toronto adventure, you were actually on tour with Ex-Ambassadors. Yeah. What was that like? They're
it was
such
amazing.
Good guys.
They're the best, and we played our like second show ever with them actually. Like,
oh, so it's like full circle when
it's super full circle because I remember meeting them at our second show, and we were both sort of like, you could just tell that we both had potential, but we weren't really figured out yet. And I've talked to Sam about this a bunch because I'm just like, do you remember that show? And he's like, yeah, that was a long time ago. It was probably like 6 years ago.
Wow.
And what ended up happening, Seth, our manager, ended up managing them too. And then we all ended up just being friends for years and years. And when it came up that they were doing this big headline tour, it was the same time that we were like, we're looking for some tours now. Yeah. And they offered us a slot, and we're like, this is the best possible thing, And the tour is great because their fans are such like music fans, So I've never been to a show where people come, like everyone was there for the opening acts. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Which is perfect for an opening act.
Of course.
Because like we've done some tours where we've been like the first of 3 bands, and it's crazy. Like sometimes no one's there, like 20 people.
You never know what to expect, really.
Yeah, you never know what to expect. But for this, it was like we would, first show was in Las Vegas, and there was like 1,000 people, and we're like, it's nice to be able to like, yeah, it's a good start. But you come back, and it also forced us to like, taking a break for 2 years. It's a long time not to perform. Yeah. So as soon as we did that, and also watching Sam every night, Sam is like one of the best performers.
He's so kinetic on stage.
He is. He's unbelievable, and he's so connected to what he's doing and his message, and genuinely, he's genuinely doing it. It's just like a beautiful thing. So every night it would be like perform, try some new things, take notes. And it's great because it was kind of a perfect warm up now for being back and like playing all the new songs and stuff.
Speaking of live shows, I saw you bought tickets to see Dixie Chicks the other day.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's weird because as a performer, I think a lot of people, from a fan perspective, they don't realize like, oh, you still like going to shows. Yeah. You still enjoy this live experience.
Absolutely, but also it's funny because I talk about this with other bands all the time. We sometimes forget to buy tickets to go to shows because we'll go to like friends shows, like the smaller clubs and stuff like that.
Guess this.
And then it's like we're just like, oh, it's free. Let's go hang. You're hanging with your friends, but then also. It was just really funny because this is like one of those weird moments where it just like popped up. I think I like joined the Dixie Chicks fan club like 8 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. It has nothing like, Savoir Adore has nothing to do with like country music, but I love country music. It's really just a strange, different part of my like musical background. So I've seen Dixie Chicks a few times already, but as soon as they announced that they were coming back, I was like, oh my God. So it's funny, me and my friend Alex, not in Savoir, but a friend, we're like, he mentioned on this last tour, he's like, I kind of like the Dixie Chicks. And I was like, me too. Do you want to go on a date? So we have like this plan now. It's really funny because we're also going to see Ryan Adams at Central Parks. Nice. And like he's like my like concert buddy for the summer. But yeah, I really forget to go to shows sometimes. Yeah. But now I'm like really excited because it's going to be moments like that where, I think back to seeing, I saw Saves the Day when I was 16 at a small club in Providence. And I'll never forget like that being a moment where I was like, I want to be that guy. It's like you kind of have to remind yourself sometimes to go out and experience art and music, not just like doing it, because I think you have to consciously make that choice sometimes.
It's cool you mentioned that because the first time I saw Savoir Adore, I think it was the Rancho Relaxo where I saw you. So. Now you're playing Lee's Palace. Like it's just so cool.
Nice, yeah.
It's so cool to see the growth on that end.
It is. It's amazing it's obviously amazing for us too where, especially like in cities that we visited a lot. Yeah. Like just now playing in New York and playing Bowery Ballroom and like seeing 100 people sing along.
And isn't your release show?
A release show's at Bowery, yeah.
That's
which
the
is
first
so
time,
exciting.
Right?
Yeah, we're headlining this time, which is like you know, it's been a long, slow journey, but I wouldn't have it any other way at this point because we're exactly where we want to be, you know. Well, there's a lot more to go, but it's pretty good, you know.
It's pretty good.
So that's gonna be amazing. Yeah, we're playing with a couple great bands too, VHS Collection and Wild Wild. I don't know if
we've interviewed Wild Wild.
Really?
Yep.
I remixed their song when we were young, so that was
cool.
sort of how I got introduced to their music. And then as soon as it came up, we were like, we need some other people to play with us. I was like, maybe they'll play. Worked out.
I love it.
So yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Well, to wrap everything up today, is there anything you want to say to all of the Savoir Adore fans out there?
Oh my God,
I know.
The tank. That's like a famous tank now.
It is. I love this tank so much.
It's funny because we only made a few of those because we originally tried to stencil them and we failed miserably.
Oh.
And then we finally got the professionals to make there were only like 100 of those. But I would say stay tuned because there's gonna be a lot of new music. Go check out Giants. Go check out Lover's Wake, and hopefully we'll be back in Canada and everywhere very soon.
Hopefully. And I just thank you so much for your time today.
Of course, thank you.
It's my pleasure. And remember to everybody viewing, you can visit us at musicblogya.com for exclusive interviews, features, videos, and so much more with your favorite bands. We'll see you next time.
Woo.